It's on Facebook.
Look up Mitchell Ingram. Okay.
No, just for the record, do we have your nude polar bear swim on Facebook?
It's not. I haven't posted it. There's pictures from it, but no actual.
There's
No video
no
yet.
video, okay. 'Cause,
We're having all sorts
polar
of
bear swim, Mitchell was.
Yes, I know.
out
Mitchell
there,
was
all
flinging
starkers,
fire around
and he
starkers.
was twirling
And
fire.
he's got enough hair that he could have a real fire.
And the one went, well, he didn't have then because he shaved most of it off. He threw one of his staffs up in the air with the flames on the end, and there was this big roar, and the crowd went, yay, and all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
I was quite proud of my naked son on the beach.
Well, you know me. I mean, I'm a native Wreck Beach person.
I know.
I've been going to Wreck Beach since before the hippies discovered it, because I used to live out there. But anyway, we're talking about the social
went to Wreck
sites.
Beach when it still had clothes.
Yes, actually, that's right. It still had rocks instead of having all that sand pumped up on it too. But
Okay, we're talking about
social sites, and really, this is part of what brought me in touch with ACTA, and because there was people who were dealing with this already on Facebook, and I was getting, what have we? No, we haven't locked again, have we? No. Good. You worry me when you go over there. Too much technology. We got to hide it all. Put your arm down.
What is down?
Oh, okay. It's not. No, it's just down. You're gonna put your. See, it's up. It's up there. It just takes a while.
Yes. Well, I was looking at this immediate on that one because that's a live picture. That's what's coming over.
That's
the net,
what's coming
right?
over the
Okay.
net. That's right.
So you've tapped into Facebook now.
The part that's really distracting is I'm listening to you talk and then hearing you talk.
Yes. Well, take those headphones off and just listen to it live. That's the way to do it. But yeah, it was funny. About a year ago, I started getting back interested in building some new business, because I make no bones about it. I've been trying to get out of the tech business, get away from the things that I've been doing in terms of technical design and hands-on hardware and hands-on software, because that's a hobby of mine. And now I don't like my hobby anymore because I have to work at it every day.
And putting cameras up in
Putting
trees
cameras
to
up in
watch,
trees.
watch
Yep.
eagles hatching, and
Yeah.
cameras
Yeah.
in balconies to watch herons hatching, and
Yep.
you've even got cameras in underwater cameras watching salmon spawning.
That's right. Yep.
And
Now
you've got-
talk about privacy invasion. I don't know.
Yes, I know. Spawning fish. Well, you should get a picture of my spawning fish downstairs. I've got
Yes.
that thing, and that
Well,
would make a good
yes.
good piece on with the site. for
That's
that
right.
one.
We've got the spawning salmon downstairs. Now, who carved that? That was one of the local natives here in West
Jim
End.
Paul.
Jim Paul, right.
Yep, Jim Paul.
Yep.
And he carved it, and it does some really nice carvings.
It does have a chip out of it, though.
It does
It
have a
has
little
not
chip.
been looked after very well.
Oh, that chip was gone about 3 months after I got it.
Yeah.
It disappeared right away. Anyway, so you've got a real record of running of cameras in remote places. I mean, having
all
a
sorts of
camera in
fun.
a parking lot is nothing compared to what you're doing, because you got
I got a camera about a mile and a half out from the shore out
In the
at
middle of a
Chehalis, in the Chehalis
on
estuary.
the built-up stand.
I had to buy a pair of hip waders to go out and service it.
No, you're not using the boat that David found, huh?
Well, no, we put it in using a helicopter, and we visited it once with an inflatable boat. But mostly the water is down low enough you can't get to it by boat.
So
But
you gotta
there's
wade
still
in.
lots of little places where gumboots aren't tall enough either.
Yeah, so you need.
So I've actually
waders.
got hip waders, and
You got a fly fishing rod to take with you?
no,
while you're doing
no,
this?
no. I'm not. The last time I tried casting something, I caught my ear. I'm not interested in doing that again. I really am not. I'm sorry. I'm just not. I'm not cut out to be a fisherman. Deep line fishing, that was fine. My uncles taught me how to go fishing for salmon, for pinks and chums and things like that. But I am not a fly fisherman.
Okay, well, I'm not either. But, I knew you were into classical music. I found that out a couple of weeks ago. I didn't know you were into Van Gogh stuff.
Van Gogh?
Wasn't he the one that cut his ear off?
No, I didn't cut it off. All I did was catch it.
Well, I know, but
the
it's
problem
sort of
is
half-
that
half of Van Gogh.
my dad told me that if I caught anything, I had to eat it. Now,
Half
I
an ear
really, I drew the line at that one.
Wasn't your father a customs agent or something?
My father was a customs officer. That's right. Yeah. He not at the border. He was he worked mostly on the
Customs
docks
house,
and
or-
out at Customs House and on the docks and out at the airport, doing freight and things like that. And it was fascinating because, I mean, I won't say he didn't have an education. He had the war came along and interrupted his education. He was the classical civil servant who was taking exams and studying things like this, and I love him. I mean, you know, he died far too young as far as I'm concerned. I miss him deeply, but it was interesting because every now and then he would bring something home and he would ask me about it. For instance, I have one of Chairman Mao's little red books.
Oh, do you?
I basically have the first one that ever came into Canada because he got to take a sample of them as they came in through customs. And another thing I recall
Make
was
note.
a little file of, it looked like the typical silicone. Now, silicone, the very thick liquid that you use on
Like
you know,
a silicone gel or something.
yeah,
That's-
silicone
okay.
gel for putting on gaskets and that
Yep.
sort of thing in pools and that. Well, we're talking about the early
50s,
60s, well, the
50s or
late
60s?
50s, early 60s, and this was the first sample that came into Canada. And he brought it home and he says, they're telling me this is worth $450, and that was like about 2 ounces or
Yes.
something. And he says, does that sound reasonable? And I looked at it and I did a little bit of research. We had our encyclopedia there, and I had a little bit of an idea of what was going on because I used to read the encyclopedia for fun.
Yes.
You know,
I used to sell encyclopedia colors, encyclopedias, and Britannicas.
so I got to see all sorts of things that
Yeah.
the first time they came into the country
That other people would never have seen.
that other people would never have seen. It was fascinating, and it set the tone for a lot of the things that I did in the future.
Well, that's
So,
why
yeah,
you're so curious.
I'm absolutely. Well, no, that's not why I'm so curious. I got to see them because I was curious because he knew I'd probably know something about it.
Nah, it's a cause and effect, and
Well,
effect
yeah.
and cause. You never know what it is. If you have the ability, so many parents stop their kids from doing things.
Oh yeah, I know.
And you don't
So
stop
I
your
have
kids,
kids.
from doing anything.
You and I both have kids. Okay, I don't know about how you did with your kids, but what I did at the point where I knew they were going to start getting curious about dangerous things, I basically gave them 2 rules. Okay, rule number 1 is you come and ask me first. Rule number 2 is that if there's anything that I tell you about safety, or if there's any safety equipment around, that is not to be touched unless there's a disaster. So they don't play with fire extinguishers, they don't play with any safety equipment. Those were the only 2 rules. And they came all
If
sorts
it's
of
already burning, don't bring it in the house.
well, that's kind of a second rule. It shouldn't have been burning before they asked me about it. But I said, I made gunpowder when I was a kid.
Me
and,
too.
You could go
Do
to
you know
the
what the best little bombs were? Remember the little paste things?
a paste
Yeah,
bottle.
little paste
oh,
bottle
yeah, the
were
little paste bottle,
fantastic.
yeah.
Because at Mitchell they had a top on the head with a hole already.
Yep.
And you could just put your saltpeter and your sulfur and your stuff in there, and you put it in, mix it all up, and then you make a little wick and you put it through the hole because it was a hole already for a brush neck.
Yep.
And then you put it someplace and lit the fuse and
Yep.
watched it go boom.
That's right. Well, I never got mine to go boom, unfortunately.
Oh, we
For some
blew up
strange
ours
reason, I
all-
never really
used
got
to-
it.
Don't forget, you died once.
Oh, and I died once too.
Yes, you did.
Well,
Yes, so I hear.
because the Murray Ingham and I were Ingham, Ingham in Regina. His father was the superintendent of schools, or the school board superintendent, or something, or I don't remember what it was. Anyway, Murray, I wasn't there when Murray was making this particular bomb, but he literally blew himself up in the basement of his house. And I was a better known Ingram than he was an Ingham at the time. And when I showed it, they were announcing that
Oh, that he
he'd been
died.
blown up.
Oh, okay.
And
So
on
he
the-
died,
he did
and they
die.
got the name mixed up.
And he
Okay.
died, and since everybody knew I liked making bombs, and in the morning when I showed up at Central Collegiate, everybody's looking at me. You're dead. And Murray went to a different school. Murray went to Scott
Okay.
Collegiate, and I went to Sheldon or to
Yep.
Central Collegiate.
I
And
hit freeze instead of play, and now you stopped.
Well, now we're working.
so, as long as we're still moving,
Yes, we are.
yeah, well, something's happening.
No, you're you're moving on that one?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe we're not. What did you do?
I hit freeze.
Well, Unfreeze it.
That's
Turn it off. Turn it back
It's
on
just
again.
moved again. It just, but my
Yeah, no,
nose, it's working. We're
working.
live.
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, it's
That,
it's
you just
live
froze
above.
on that particular.
Live, as long as we got
Yeah,
sound.
we're live.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
we